finally step up and talk about this concept. And it actually clearly tells why we're doing this and why it's important. So, first of all, I need to thank Dwayne Whelan and the Liberal Arts Gallery for letting us use this wonderful space. It is so important. It is so important and indispensable to our art form, theater, to have places to develop a workshop and showcase our work. Also, we'd like to thank International Bazaar. Gave us a little donation to help us rent the place, so I want to say thank you to them. That's very important. International Bazaar Boutique on Local, right at 3rd. So please, clothing boutique, nice room, fancy stuff for ladies. And the talented ensemble of the Afro Renaissance Theater, Madeline Porter, Leslie Love, Kimberly Henderson, Scott Wicked, Indigo and Michelle Colbert. They have been with this for a long time. This particular piece was really mine. I want to thank them. Also, my sister Hattie, my family, who are all somewhere around here, creeping in late or whatever, and all my family here, I just really appreciate all of you coming and supporting me through all this time. And it wouldn't be an event without you. And I see so many faces, so many of you who come to all my events, Jerry, Jackie, and all of you. And my aunt, Nikki Clark. So it's really great that you come to this with you really get us off to a great start. So I really appreciate that. This is actually, well, there's a new theater being born. And it's not just in Detroit, but certainly in Detroit, but all over the world. All over Africa and Ghana, Liberia, Senegal, Nigeria, London, Russia, New York, Iraq, all over the world. Right now, today, we are witnessing and experiencing the physical results of a revolution of consciousness. It was a revolution of consciousness that preceded the physical revolutions that we are witnessing all over Africa and the Middle East today. Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Libya, Yemen, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, China. Human consciousness is evolving in Detroit and all over the world, and nothing can stop it, as you can see. Tanks, guns, governments, nothing. And we are having a revolution of consciousness in theater that is the precursor to our artistic revolution in theater that is just beginning to happen. I call this burgeoning revolution in theater the new theater. In important ways, the new theater is similar to the theater of the 1960s African American arts movement, which in important ways is similar to the theater of the ancient Egyptians and Greeks. But there are important differences in the quality of consciousness and perspective between the old enlightened theater of the past, which we really don't see much of now today either, and the new theater, which we will begin to see more and more of in the future, especially as we continue to attend the 4th Sunday Theater Showcase. In the distant past, and maybe in some cultures still today in Africa, Brazil, China, and other parts of the world, when families still hunted and gathered their food and shared meals and conversation together, the entire tribe or community would gather around a fire and tell stories, and stories would be performed with masks and costumes and different characters with the primary purpose to enrich the village with knowledge of their past and to provide advice and guidance on how to live and survive and interact with each other and the rest of the world. In ancient Egypt and in Greece, they would travel with their families many miles, long distances, miles on foot, often traveling for days. And then finally, when they arrived at the theater in the morning, with expectations of being enlightened, educated, and entertained for the entire day, they would eat and dance and watch the thespians enlighten them about the world until the sun no longer was lit the performers. Often they would stage entire theater festivals that would last entire weeks. Plays, and they would be full of plays with the sole purpose was to help the people live the best quality, most enlightened life possible. It was powerful, it was important, but it was mainly focused on external growth. How to survive externally, how to behave in certain situations and at certain times, how to treat others, how to impress others, how to protect yourself from others. The old enlightened theater of the past was almost completely focused externally. This is especially true for Greece and the 1960s African American art movement. The old enlightened theater of the past was important and powerful, and an essential part of the process of getting us where we are today, and where we're heading in the future. But it was externally focused, and externally focused theater and art no longer meets our needs as 21st century humans. We need a new enlightened theater. Theater that is internally focused. Theater that is more concerned and focused on what we experience behind our eyes instead of what we experience in front of our eyes. The new theater is internally focused and rests on the belief that art can directly and profoundly affect our consciousnesses, our emotions, and our actions in our environment. The new theater helps us look inside ourselves and discover the real truth about ourselves and the world around us. And the new theater helps us find the energy and the courage to engage what we discover about ourselves. The new theater is not afraid to present the truth, especially when it's difficult, and the new theater helps us face the truth and feel the truth, especially when it's challenging. It creates a world full of plays and films and arts that makes it fun to look inside ourselves, to face the internal challenges, to see who we really are, not who we spend much of our time pretending to be. The new theater explores the reasons why we repeatedly make the choices we make, even though we often don't like the outcomes. The new theater creates a future where we no longer have to use art and entertainment primarily to escape, but instead we can use it primarily to learn and heal and transcend our challenges. Because we will know that on the other side of those lessons and discoveries will be a freedom and a joy and a life that is beyond this world. The new theater consistently engenders the kind of experience, That's why it's the new theater. And that's why you've been invited here today. Now, that old theater that portrays us as victims, and it doesn't help us see our role in our experiences, it doesn't help us take responsibility for what we experience, that old theater doesn't help us see that we are the cause and the creators of our experiences, that our intentions and our choices and our actions create our reality. That old theater is coming to an end. And it's being replaced by the new theater that awakens our passion for developing our own personal spiritual growth. Now, that being said, are all the plays that we're going to read in the near future going to be the type of plays I just described? Unfortunately, no, they're not. We have to develop ourselves into the type of theater artists that see the world in the new theater manner. We have to develop ourselves so we can write these new theater plays. And many of us all over the world are beginning to do that right now. And what I'm saying to you is right now is a very important part of this process. Because the way that you get there is by putting it out there, to state it, to make it clear what your goal is. But it's going to take a lot more than just saying it or choosing it or deciding it. It's a real mental, emotional, psychological work. Just by saying, oh, I want to write plays that are spiritually enlightening doesn't make it happen. Believe me, I'm speaking from experience. You'll start writing plays with that intention at first, and then you'll read them as I had, and I've said things like, oh my God, I feel less enlightened the more and more I write. In fact, I felt the more I write, the less enlightened I felt, which makes me actually want to stop writing at all. But you have to work through the fear, the disappointment, the pain, and the self-doubt, and the embarrassment, and continue to at least try to write. And now I see my ability to do that. It's on the horizon. It's out there, way out there, but I see it. And that's very inspiring. It's a really hard part about writing for new theater is that you actually have to be more enlightened yourself. You actually have to be a certain type of person to write. Because this time it's internal, not external. You have to be a new theater playwright inside to create the new theater outside. This time, only the stories are made believe, but the origin of the stories, the playwright, and the truth of the stories are real. Even what we're going to present today is still on the edge of the old theater, trying to break through, reflect, and articulate and express the new consciousness that is the essence of the new theater. Will all the plays you see on the fourth Sunday Theater Showcase live up to this theater idea? Of course, like I said, not right away. But the goal of new theater playwrights is to commit themselves to develop the mental, emotional, and psychological and technical skills to create these new plays and screenplays. Unfortunately, you can't pray, wish, hope, yoga, exercise, or meditate the new theater into being, because believe me, I've tried. You have to earn it, choice by choice, intention by intention, action by action, experience by experience. You don't get there by just sitting in your jungle apartment, reading books and contemplating theatrical ideas and theories. As you can't tell, I'm speaking from experience again. And I believe many artists go through this process, though. And what I've discovered is that you are part of this process right here, today. This new, refreshing understanding that a better way to get there, a better way to get to the new theater is by sharing and engaging with the people around you.